Hi, I'm Kelly Ellis, Vice President of Global Industry Relations for Nadi, here with my friend and President of AADLA, Clinton Howell.
Hi, I'm Clinton Howell. I'm here with Kelly to discuss the spring show being hosted by Incollect, and I'm delighted to be talking with Kelly about some of the objects that you will see in the spring show.
We are so excited about the AADLA Spring Show hosted by Incollect. As Clinton told you, there's over 35 dealers showcasing some of their most beautiful items, and they're all available on Incollect. There are a few fantastic pieces, really hard to pick, but a few fantastic pieces that caught my attention. So Clinton, I would love to start chatting about this wonderful watercolor at Robert Morrissey Antique and Fine Art. Please tell us more about this piece.
Even though I'm an English furniture dealer, I love Americana. And I met Robert when I visited St. Louis maybe 25 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but about 15 years ago, I walked into his back room and saw a group of watercolors that he had by this American artist named Stan Masters. This particular watercolor of the train is, to me, just so evocative of the train culture that the Middle America was very involved in.
I think what's interesting about this piece is it does say a lot about Middle America and then what happened to the train culture, because you notice that the train is sitting there solo amongst a dead field, unused tracks. And so it says so much about the time.
Masters grew up right next to the railroad tracks. His bedroom was about 15 feet from the railroad tracks. And his style is reminiscent of Hopper and Wyeth. It embodies Americana. And this is what I love about Americana. It is American. It's distinctly American. No other country was like this.
Up next, we have a stunning statue of Rama by Kapoor Galleries. Please tell me a little bit more about this.
I've been lucky enough to visit India twice, once in 1976 and once in 2016. And in both times, Hindu culture was something that I didn't feel I had a grasp on, and I'm lucky enough to be on Sanjay's mailing list. And he sends out a mailing every week, and it can be a drawing, it can be a tanka, it can be all sorts of different things. And there's always an explanation of who the god is and what's going on.
I love the emotion here. If you know about Rama, and he's supposed to be formidable and, you know, but sweet, but stately. There's something very sinister and sneaky about the look on this face.
The nature of man and of gods was embodied both good and bad, and that they were a necessary dynamic within the individual. And Indian sculptors wanted to create that, wanted to recreate that in their statues and in their paintings.
We have a gorgeous San Marco oil painting from Ray's Contemporary Galleries. Beautiful picture of Venice. What do you know about this piece?
This has a slightly different take. It's a more modernist take, obviously. And it's interesting because it allows you to see things in a different way, which is what, for me, fundamentally what art is all about.
I think what really attracted me, and this is confessions from an interior designer, but it's the color. And so I was just really struck by the color here that made it beautiful to me. And of course, I love all things Venice, so that didn't hurt either.
This painting is great fun for that. It's terrific. Venice is blue. It's all about the sea. It's about color.
Okay, so up next, I couldn't resist. I really don't care what kind of interior design you have, what style you think you have. This piece could go in any home, anywhere. This stone Taza brought to us by the European Decorative Arts Company. Tell me a little more, what do you think?
if you think about this particular object, it was made by a goldsmith, and goldsmiths had to go beyond gold. They had to figure out ways of earning a living. So they would find materials that were rare and unusual, stones that had great color. They would try to figure out ways of manufacturing glass that would be slightly different. Tiffany understood this very well. Of course, he was late 19th century. This piece is mid 19th century, and the goldsmith was making something that was designed to be very, very valuable and put into a cabinet and looked at with great care. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I can see where the gold and the use of the stones, the precision in that fine work, but comparing it with something that stone must have been unusual.
Metals and stone work extremely well together. They are both reflective and they both have a gloss and a sheen to them that just draws you in. And you look at a green stone and say, how can it be? Or the blue, the lapis lazuli, or whatever. There are quartzites of all sorts that are quite extraordinary. And when they're polished and put into a piece like this, you can't imagine how all this came to being, the imagination that it took to get us to this particular object.
I don't know about you, Clinton, but I love chocolate. So when I see anything tied to such a delicacy, a treat, at one point was a very valuable trading commodity, chocolate. I can see why creating a vessel for chocolate would be so important, right?
Chocolate pots are a collectible in and of themselves. Silver has a coolness, and it has a quality of being sleek and sophisticated. And that's what this chocolate pot has for me. And I love the fact that there's a stirrer, because chocolate clumps together, and getting it mixed in properly with the milk, or if you're dieting the water, is fantastic. It's just great to have that stirrer. But it's a beautiful form. It's an absolutely gorgeous form.
I really love the pairing of silver and something warm, in this case, mahogany, because the two together go so beautifully. And we've seen that many, many, many times in interior design, where some of the most popular kitchens are wood and stainless steel.
Mahogany lends itself to silver. It's a dark reddish timber, and having been suffused into chocolate a lot, it's taken a wonderful chocolatey color, and that's a great balance to the silver handle.
For those of you who love George Jensen, Greg Pepin Silver obviously knows that there is a market for his pieces. It comes in a box. It's beautiful. I would check this one out. So the last piece, but certainly not least, is something from your very own collection that I think is absolutely stunning. Please tell me more about this desk.
Writing tables are the workhorse of the English furniture business for the landowner, who basically would work at his desk for all his rents, for all the things that were going on. The writing table was the center of the man's world. And this particular writing table is very interesting. It has a rope twist molding around the top, which is a realistic rope. And that's a very complex thing to carve. It's not simple. Below it are these unusual drawer handles, which are gilded bronze. The drawer fronts on each of these are flat on flat, with a handle framed within the flat. You get to the legs. The legs are geometric and really unusual, really very different. They're Egyptian inspired. The classicism comes from Egypt, not from Rome or Greece. And something tells me that this desk might have something to do with the defeat of Napoleon at Aboukir Bay by the British, which the reason I draw the two together is because you have an Egyptian feel to the leg. And you have the admiral's rope around the top. You have the naval rope around the top. This is just a guess, but this is part of the romance of furniture.
I loved the idea that it looks like you've got drawers all the way around it. So this is clearly a piece that was in the middle of the room. This was a stately, like, statement piece that you're going to look at this from all angles, and from any way that you look at it, sideways, sitting at it on either side, I see that it's finished all the way around.
Furniture was meant to hold a place. It wasn't meant to be purely functional. It wasn't meant to be something that is there. It's meant to say something.
So many beautiful things to see. We want to be sure that everyone knows that that is just a very, very small selection of the beautiful pieces available. Please follow along every single day for 12 days beginning May 7th here on InCollect, and follow them, follow the AADLA Spring Show. Thank you so much for your time and information and energy, Clinton. Really loved it.
It was my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure.